Wednesday, March 4th, 2009.
2009.
And in 2009, you can talk to each other on video on things.
Sometimes, if you find out how to, it's
if you spend about 4 hours
yeah.
investing time into getting the shit to work correctly. And I guess we should talk about that from the start, because we haven't really done, especially this way, 3 different locations video podcasts. We did 1 location video and then edited later with website content and stuff.
Right.
But we've never done 3 video streams simultaneously. Nope. And we're actually using a thing that we just stumbled on Google. Ooh. I think I looked up Uvu, which is a horrible name, but it's OOVOO.com.
Kicking it with Uvu.
Uvu.
And we're running it right now, 3 different Windows machines, 2 of which are MacBooks.
Yes. 1 MacBook, which would not run it.
Right, because there's a beta for OS X, but the beta for me would crash continuously, it would run for like a second and then die.
Right.
And then the beta for Paul, when we connected tonight after we'd done our test earlier, and I didn't have a camera set up because I was
as long as I was only talking to Josh.
Paul got. Right, when we all 3 connected, Paul couldn't hear either Josh nor I, but we could hear Paul.
No.
It was interesting. We would send them text messages and...
You're skipping.
What?
That's okay. I'm just saying. It's no problem.
What did I skip?
Josh and I hung out, had a little music jam session, actually. We were getting along great.
Oh, you're saying it's my...
Was within an eighth note, of each other. And
we almost got it lined up.
Yeah, but...
Oh, you could almost jam.
Right, exactly. But then you joined in, and all the audio went away, and I
fucked it up, is what you're saying.
It got sad, yeah. So...
I shit in your party.
A little bit, yeah. So Josh, you said you're getting this shopping project thing popping up?
A what project?
I get this stupid thing too. Shopping, it's shopping with 1 P and project. Yeah, and I hate them.
There's some definitely ads flying out of it.
Uvu's got some ads in it, motherfuckers. That's what's going on.
They make you have to...
And there's one thing I will say about Uvu. I would pay Uvu some money to not have the ads.
Yeah, but...
And to think of a better name.
Just, if you're listening. Yes. Yeah, and think of a better name, like Face Video Monkey. That'd be a catchier name.
Video book.
Either that or you have to get Ice Cube to do an ad for you. I got Uvu.
So we're gonna have a new name and like a Twitter ID and stuff, and we're gonna drop it on your face.
I don't know about all that, but I'm still down for the Ice Cube ad.
But you don't like the face part?
I'm just saying.
Paul's like, I don't want to be that confrontational.
Anyway.
So what's Boxy? You were talking about it a lot the last time we were trying to do this connection.
Yeah, and I played around with Boxy.
Well, Paul, tell me what you think Boxy is, Paul, because you just experienced it.
Boxy's a media center. Straight up, Boxy's a media center. And so it's not a
and just to give
it's not anything else. It is you got to go into it thinking you can navigate with a remote, and it's almost set up to do that kind of stuff. You know. Your
perspective is from the UI perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
But in general, Boxy is based on Windows Media Center, not Windows Media Center, the Xbox Media Center, which was an open source Linux distribution built for the Xbox, the original Xbox, the first gen Xbox, that would play a billion different video formats in HD on your TV.
Right.
A billion.
And then a billion. All of the billion. Like there are stars. There are that many codecs.
Billions.
That's the bonus word for tonight, codec.
You get the feeling that billions going to start to be like 100 was in the early 20th century here before too long.
If you're in
like
some African countries, it's $1 billion for 3 eggs.
What?
Because of inflation.
Oh, right.
We gave AIG 150 billion, and I haven't seen any eggs.
The guy at least needs 6 eggs.
Yeah.
Right, but Xbox Media Center, Boxy's built on that. When I first started using it, and it's not been that long ago. It's been like maybe a few weeks ago, really. Hulu was built into it, so you could watch Hulu full screen. Boxy originally ran on Ubuntu, and you can still get Ubuntu. Like that was the primary platform. Then they ported it to OS 10, and then they're working on a port to Windows later. And Paul's laughing at his iPod Touch, I think.
Yeah, I just got an email. Sorry, pretty damn funny.
Are you playing Are you playing with iPity?
I pity the fool. Yes. No.
But so Hulu content got pulled from Boxy.
Right. Right.
Voluntarily, Boxy could have said like, "Fuck you, I don't care," because they're essentially a browser, and you said they're not a browser. But realistically, it's a type of browser. It's just a media browser. So why is it fair that you can watch Hulu stuff in Firefox, but you can't watch it in Boxy? Like, what is the real difference? What's the real difference?
That's like saying, why can't you watch it in Media Player or iTunes?
Okay, but let's put it this way:
instead of the internet.
And yeah, why can't you watch iTunes content anywhere in Boxy? Because Apple wants to control the experience. And so if Hulu wants to control where people watch it, fine, it's up to them.
Well, but what Hulu has said is that Hulu, the people like that work at Hulu, right, they're not the ones that are, it's the content providers. So it's like NBC or it's somebody. It's one of those guys that is like, we're freaked out about this Boxy thing we heard about on the internet. It's like, nobody wants to have cable anymore. Like we've read like 4 articles about how people are getting rid of cable and setting up watching stuff on Hulu.
That's, yeah. That's kind of ridiculous.
I think I can't.
I mean, the thing about it is people are going to go through waves of freaking out, right? NBC still has a love-hate relationship with YouTube, man. They still put shit up on YouTube and then pull it. And
they do?
Or they allow it to go up and then they pull it or whatever.
Because that was the whole thing with Hulu for them, was that they didn't.
Now it's all Hulu. In Hulu, they do the bring it, the give away and take it back game all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, again, it's a weird distinction for me to make, perhaps, but there really is the company Hulu, the people, the organization Hulu,
sure,
which were created for these content providers, by these content providers. But like, I think their motivation and like how they function, they're like, we want it to be out there, like. The whole idea is like every episode of it.
Come on,
Right, exactly. They have no choice but to cater to it. But I don't know. It's just a silly distinction. I think it's a silly distinction in this day and age that Firefox is treated somehow different than Boxy is, and it doesn't make any sense. There's really no logical reason. And stupid shopping Pro-J just came up again.
I'll tell you what it is. The distinction from their perspective is. Boxy is a TV experience, and Firefox is a web browser experience. And that is still a huge distinction among content providers. That's straight up.
But
just from my old school TV experience.
Other than the iPod or the Apple TV version of it, which doesn't do any high resolution anything.
Right.
That's the only one that really is a device that's made to hook to your TV directly. I can take my MacBook and fucking plug it into the TV downstairs. And
I'm saying the experience is the whole idea. Like I was saying, you should be able to navigate that thing with a remote, and you can. It's set up to. It's, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily. It's a thing that's made for discrete navigation, not.
And it would be very different if they hadn't been showing the ads.
Right.
I think the thing they were really worried about was they couldn't control all the shit around what would be a minimize screen. There's never the minimize screen on Boxy.
Right.
So all the peripheral ads and shit, I think, that would like be below it or whatever on Hulu, because they have ads.
Yeah.
Isn't there always like a middleman though? Like you were comparing a browser to Boxy. Like the browser never plays the video. There's
isn't showing the video, the program's showing the video to some extent, because the browser ends up being this like platform that things run in.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying, because it's probably Silverlight or Flash Player or
Right.
it's some plug-in that's not natively in the browser.
Right.
Or some website or some service or some like.
Right, but I don't know, why is it so different than that? If that plug-in, that Silverlight thing is running on Boxy? I don't know. I find it's a very interesting distinction that is a distinction with, I don't know what the term is, but there's no difference.
It's just about control. Like Paul said, it's just about fucking control. It's the studio's freaking out, trying to control what they can control.
It's this. It's the things that the studios did and the labels did. Unreasonable reaction to things without really knowing the technology and not really knowing what they're fighting against.
Right.
It's this. They're fighting a windmill.
Right.
And it's
okay.
The most. I'm sorry. I'll end on this part talking about this, but the most messed up thing about it is that when you take legitimate Hulu content from people on Boxy, those same people they've already found ways to get around it, or they go out and just download the show illegally.
Sure.
When you take away the legal avenue from somebody after they've had it, how stupid is that? I mean, when you can sell advertisement for a legal product and people are using it, why would you take it away from? I don't understand that. I don't get that.
You are absolutely right, and you. That's always the case, but you know how slow to adapt they are. So you got to expect this, right? You got to expect this. They are always slow to adapt.
But you would think, like we went through this with the labels, we went through this with TV, we went through this with movies.
Which proves they don't learn. So why do you expect them to suddenly, they've always acted insane, which that definition of insane, you keep, doing the same crap over and over.
Doing the same thing like,
Right. They have proven themselves to be insane. So you can expect them to do the same shit over and over and over. And they are proving to do it again. Still.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You're like, have you been paying attention for the last 10 years, you media owners?
No. It's like SUVs.
Right. And I mean, think about
like what? What? People aren't going to buy them. What's going on?
I mean, just think about all this shit, how they're killing, now they've killed off internet radio for the most part, and none of these artists are getting streaming royalties for shit. You know what I mean?
Well, they made it to where they wouldn't, didn't they? The writers don't get streaming royalties? That was like the...
And yet the labels are
still like, we're fighting for artists.
Right. And the labels are still hurting.
Yeah.
And it's like, you deserve it. You know? You totally deserve it. But... I'm not advocating anything here, by the way.
Do you want to?
I've promoted label music my entire career as a DJ.
Well, we've talked a little bit about Boxy and Hulu,
yes.
And I just want to mention that Hulu pulled its content off of TV.com. That's why it's mentioned there.
Right.
And we'll come up to TV.com a little bit later in the show, I think. But
they
just
did,
this
like
week,
today.
Not,
I thought you were watching it.
I meant Hulu has pulled content off of TV.com. Ooh. And this was like a few weeks ago. And I may have said Boxy.
Right.
And then the other thing is that the Roku, that little Roku, what was the Netflix Roku box? The $100 box that you then use with Netflix to do streaming stuff. Uh-huh. They're now doing Amazon On Demand.
Right.
Which is rental and purchases of movies.
Right.
And the interface is on the device, so you don't even have to have a web browser to do it.
That's cool.
So they're adding that by the end of the week. That should roll out on those guys.
On what device?
You have a TiVo. You can already do it on the TiVo.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So
you can do the Netflix and because you've got a Series 2, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can do that stuff on that now. It's just a little $100 device. You're not paying a monthly fee for, unlike the TiVo. So I think that's kind of cool because I've got a Roku downstairs and I'm getting my dual tuner Series 2 TiVo shipped out here pretty soon.